Chapter 4. School, School, and More School. Because of their investment in TISC, all four families were well off. Not particularly rich, but well off. Chuck, Lenore, and Carrie had invested all they could and so had realized enough to carry them through college and postgraduate work, besides being able to purchase nice homes. Chuck and Lenore decided to go into medicine and Carrie wanted to practice law. This meant at least 8 years of education and several more in internships. Peter, on the other hand, had the promise of the senior programmer position with microcomputing. While he was negotiating with microcomputing, Peter's dad advised him to get all the promises included in the contract. This seemed reasonable, so Peter made that stipulation. Microcomputing fought the idea tooth and nail, like a largemouth bass on an angler's hook. But Peter was adamant. After all, he had done well marketing the program himself. Microcomputing finally acquiesced. Peter, Lenore, Carrie, and Chuck would also receive royalties from the sales of the program. Microcomputing did get one thing they wanted besides the integrated computer workstation, and that was Peter's continued attention to improving and upgrading the product. The 3 kids with college aspirations graduated with highest honors and were all accepted to State University. Peter began his job with microcomputing working by internet commuting from home. He worked hard giving microcomputing an honest day's work for a day's pay. He and Chuck had agreed to postpone the wedding until after the 3 graduated from their courses of instruction. It was hard, but they continued to honor the promise, still loving and striving to make their women happy. Peter found himself drawn into their studies as he had since the 6th grade. Even though he was not in their classes, he studied the material, listened to the taped lectures and translated the concepts into simple language the other 3 could grasp. The 4 found themselves with much the same schedule they had all those years in school. Except that they lived in houses next to one another. Peter had bought a home in a nice neighborhood near the university and Lenore had bought the one next to his. Peter and Chuck were housemates, and the 2 girls lived in the other house. This made work and study simple. The guys would switch off tending the yards. Peter would tend both yards one Saturday, and Chuck the next. For this, the girls would host dinner every Saturday evening, then the 2 couples would engage in some relaxing activity. One Saturday evening in their sophomore year in college, they were playing Scrabble together, when Carrie stopped and turned to Peter. "Peter, it's so hard to wait, do you think we could get married pretty soon?" Peter answered, "I'm waiting for you. I didn't want to wait in the first place. Whenever you say." Lenore smiled at Chuck, "Could we get married pretty soon too?" Chuck answered, "We'll just have to practice birth control. I'm ready." They planned a double wedding. Carrie's mom would give her away, and Lenore's dad would give her away. They decided to wait until the end of the spring semester so that they could take a decent honeymoon. The guys wanted to go camping in the Rocky Mountains and the girls wanted to go to Hawaii. They discussed it over and over again and finally settled on a compromise. They would go to Hawaii. There they would camp out a couple of days in the hills of Oahu. Well, as things usually go, they did go to Hawaii, but they never made it to the hills. The guys tried over and over again to get the girls to go camping, but they were unwilling. It finally resulted in a major row, and the boys spent 2 nights by themselves. They had to get a 3rd room because the 2 girls refused to allow them in the rooms they occupied. Peter and Chuck felt betrayed. The girls had broken their promise and then tried to make the guys believe that everything was their fault. Peter lay in the bed listening to Chuck snore. His heart was broken, he felt awful, and the tears stung his eyes. How could the woman he loved, who said she loved him, how could she do this at the very beginning of their married life? He wanted desperately to go and beg her to take him back, but he thought that if he did, she would continue to try these kinds of stunts over and over again. No. He would stick it out. If she could not admit her duplicity in this situation, maybe he married the wrong girl. He rolled over to try to sleep when he heard Chuck give out a sob. "Chuck? Yeah? You hurting too? I've never felt so bad, Pete. I wish I was dead." "Me too. Damn, it hurts." The guys slept very little for the rest of their time in Hawaii. At the end of the honeymoon, the boys refused to travel with the girls and refused to move into the homes that they had planned on. Chuck and Peter remained in the one house and the girls in the other. One evening several weeks later, Carrie knocked at the boys' door. Chuck answered the door. "Chuck, may I speak to Peter?" "That's really up to him. I'll ask." Chuck closed the door in Carrie's face and called to Peter. "Pete, Carrie wants to speak to you. Shall I let her in?" "Okay." Chuck let Carrie in, and he went upstairs. Peter invited her to sit at the table with him. "What can I do for you?" Peter's voice was level and somewhat cold. "Peter, we're supposed to be married. When are you guys going to quit this boycott?" Peter regarded her for a long time, and then he spoke. "We had agreed on a compromise for our honeymoon, and you girls reneged. Not only that, but you got nasty about it and tried to make this whole argument our fault. Just remember, it was not just your honeymoon, it was our honeymoon too. We cannot allow this to go until we get a sincere apology. We kept our part of the bargain, but you didn't, and then you tried to make us the bad guys." Carrie lowered her eyes and in a low voice and said, "Peter, you promised to strive to make me happy. Aren't you going back on your promise?" "I guess I am, but we can't start off like this in our marriage relationship. We have to work together. I'm not going to be the only person with any responsibilities in this marriage. You have to do your part too." Carrie sat for a long time, tears running down her cheeks. Peter just looked and did nothing. Then, as if turning on a switch, she sniffed, looked into Peter's eyes and whispered, "Peter, I love you. I am sorry for what we did." Her voice grew stronger. "We were wrong. When we made the agreement, Lenore and I thought you guys would forget about the camping trip. We never intended to go. I promise never to lie to you or make promises I don't intend to keep, and if we cannot agree on something, I will not try to trick you. I will love you even when we disagree. And you will be the head of our house just like the Bible says." Peter came around the table and took her in his arms. "I love you, and I promise to always be truthful too. And I will try to be the kind of husband you need and deserve." Carrie nestled her head against Peter's chest and sighed. "What will we do? We can't move in together until Chuck and Lenore make up. We can move into a small furnished apartment until we can move you in here. Can I spend the night with you? Tell you what, I'll get a motel room for the night and we can be together." Okay. I'll go and get some clothes and my nightgown." Peter grinned a huge grin, his ears turning bright red. "You won't need a nightgown." Carrie blushed. "Oh, okay. I'll be right back." Carrie left to get her things, and Peter called and made reservations at a classy hotel for them. Peter called Chuck and told him what had happened. Chuck said, "Good. Look, I can go to a motel, and you kids can stay here. No. This will be a special treat for us. We'll think about it tomorrow, okay? Well, if you're sure. Okay. Besides, if Lenore decides to make up, you will want to be here." "Yeah. Thanks." Carrie returned, and Peter went upstairs to get his things. He took the bags to the car and opened her door, and she got in. Then they drove to the hotel. Carrie saw the hotel and turned to Peter. "Are we staying here? This is a very expensive place. Nothing is too good for you. This will be our special makeup treat." "Okay." The next day, they didn't get up until after 10, they thought about getting an apartment, and so they went to Lenore's house to get Carrie's things. When Carrie and Peter walked into the house, Lenore challenged them, "Where have you been? And what's he doing here?" "We spent the night at the Grand Hotel. Together. I've come to get my things. We're moving in together, and he is here to help me." Lenore's eyes flashed. "Did he apologize?" "No. I did. We were the ones who broke our promise. All this is our fault. Well, they didn't love us enough to end it. Well, I'm not crawling back to him." Peter spoke up. "Nori, Chuck loves you very much. I hear him crying every night, but, should the innocent come crawling? What will that do for your marriage the rest of your lives? I guess you don't love him enough to humbly admit you were wrong." Lenore sat down and started bawling. Carrie sat on one side and hugged her while Peter sat on the other. Do you love him enough to swallow your pride and admit your fault? Lenore sprang up still crying and ran to the house next door. The door was locked, so she was pounding on it screaming Chuck's name over and over again. Peter unlocked the door and she ran in. When she didn't see Chuck downstairs, she started up the stairs. Peter called out, "It's the second door on the right." Peter and Carrie followed her up the stairs. She opened the door and ran to the bed. "Chuck? Chuck?" A bleary-eyed man peeked out from under the blanket. "Huh?" She threw the blanket back and got in the bed next to him and hugged him for all she was worth. "Chuck, I'm so sorry. This was all my fault, and I can't stand being apart anymore. Will you forgive me?" He put his arms around her and whispered, "Yes." Peter and Carrie had been standing in the doorway. They quietly closed the door and went to Peter's room. "Peter, do you think everything will be okay now?" "Yeah. I think everything will be okay."